All right, here we are, another live video. Love these. We don't take any editing, so uh, really enjoy you joining us. So tonight we're going to talk about bad news in real estate. There's some good news, some bad news. We're going to talk about investing. We're going to talk about all kinds of things. Hi, my name's Bruce Clark, and if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. I make videos that are all things Southern California, so we go all over. We not just Orange County, but we go Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Los Angeles County, San Diego County. Wow, gas is getting expensive, but we go all over, and we've sold homes in all those counties. And so, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, click the bell for notification. We'd love to notify you the next time we upload a new video or next time we have a live video. So, I'm a professional real estate agent. I'm a full-time real estate agent with Coldwell Banker, and been doing it now over 17 years. It's pre-Gray, pre-kids, all kinds of things. So it's been a great 17 years. And so if you're looking to make a move to Southern California, again, any of the 5 counties I mentioned, Orange, San Diego, Los Angeles, Riverside, San Bernardino counties, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. We'd love to work with you. But do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, click the bell for notification if you would. So my apologies, let me adjust this just a little. So tonight we're going to talk about, some of the bad news in real estate. So number one is inventory. We're still facing the same thing. Prices going up. Inventory, we're still at a historic low. In fact, what we're seeing is about a 50% decline, about a 33% decline in sales. So homes that are in decent shape are selling, and prices have been going up. What we're seeing is affordability because of the interest rate hike by the Fed. The affordability is down, and that's one thing that we're really that's bothering a lot of us that are in the real estate industry, is we're seeing less and less people being able to afford a home. Last listing I had, we got just a crazy amount of investors calling. They wanted fix and flip, and what's interesting is they wanted some quote unquote meat on the bone. So they get a bit upset that the pricing was such that they weren't going to make any money. As I told the investors, my job's not to have you make money. My job is to maximize the sales price, the seller, and protect them legally and other things. So the investors are still very active. It's tougher, certainly in Orange County. Riverside County, we're seeing some investors. But in Orange County, it's tough for flippers, investors, because the prices are so high. We're seeing homes even that need work. They don't have air conditioning, in-wall heaters. They have parking spaces, even some uncovered spaces. We're seeing $600 a square foot. And if you go back 15 years ago, $600 a square foot was almost what you were paying for Newport Coast. You're going to pay a little more for an ocean view, but $600, you could literally live in Newport Coast. So, and now you can't. Here's what's happened. The effect on the buyers isn't, sorry about that. The effect on buyers isn't necessarily that they can't afford a home. It's they can't afford the home that they could a year ago or 18 months ago. I was talking to someone about selling, and I told them what we talked about their buyer profile. And so that's very important when we put a home in the market. We need to figure out who's the buyer. How do we market to them? How do we find the buyers for that particular home? And there's a buyer profile for every home. We're talking, and she asked me about what I thought about pricing and things, and the effect on her home. I said, well, people are still buying homes. It's just there's not enough homes, but they're not able to buy the home that they wanted. It's the home that they want. Certainly in the past 18 months. For example, let's say $600,000 in Orange County, you could get a home. You could get something for $600,000. Certainly, maybe even a little single family home. Certainly a condo. Now for $600,000, as we're looking at Irvine and Tustin, Lake Forest, Yorba Linda, it's very difficult to find something even at $600,000. If you're looking to go Corona, same thing. So now we're out from Orange County to Riverside County. So now they've quote unquote forced the buyer to move out, to move farther out. Now the homes in Corona, single family home could be 800,000. Now you're in the city of Riverside or farther out. City of Riverside, now you're going to Paris, Perris. So parachuted out of Paris. Loved it. Parachuted multiple times. And so you're in Paris, and then next you would go to Victorville and some other cities. Certainly we've got Bishop and others. So that's the effect. It's not that someone can't afford a home, it's the home that they had in mind 12, 18, 24 months ago. And of course, the attendant cost of that is the driving. And you're talking about hours and hours of driving. If you're in Riverside, it could be 3 hours, 4 hours a day. It's tough, but that's what's almost being required. We're out in Riverside, and we're looking at homes in the 450 range for a buyer, and we go all over. I sold 10,000 plus square foot homes, sold mobile homes. So I'm agnostic. If someone wants to buy a home or sell a home, we'll go. And I'm a real estate agent. That's what we do. But we're looking at homes. And a lot of these are homes that need a lot of work. Some of them are literal tear downs. Some have holes in the ceiling. Now, one home we went into, a squatter had jumped in, and police were called, and they showed up as we're in the home. So it's going to be interesting to see as prices adjust, and they will adjust, but they're not going to adjust everywhere. I still think some of the communities that are newer, I think some communities where the irrational exuberance, where flippers came in, bought and sold quickly, they had cash, they bought a home, they put it right in the market, tried to make 400,000 to 500,000 for doing nothing. It's just the fact they could buy with cash and wanted to make a quick profit. I think they're going to get hit. I think someone who buys a home for cash, upgrades the home, landscapes it, furnishes, makes some changes to the home, improves the home. That always has value. And again, going in a lot of homes, hundreds of homes every year, we see some really good flips and we see some really bad flips. So we pay attention to that. And so again, if you're looking as an investor, if you're looking, reach out to us and let us know how we can help you. I'm still not really good at adding charts and graphs to show you the pop-up. So, but I'm going to go over some numbers that are eye-opening. And let me tell you, these are numbers from a lot of different people. So number one is credit card default and car loan defaults that are 10-year high. And how is that going to affect the real estate market? Because I'm a macro guy. I love the macroeconomics, not just the micro. How's it going to affect the real estate market? Not entirely certain. I'm not certain if the person who's defaulting on a car loan or personal loan or something, I'm not certain they're the buyer or credit card. I'm not certain that they're a buyer for a home today because they've already been in a situation that they're already feeling overextended. But there is an effect because eventually, if we look at, let's say, a 60% traditional, around the 60% ownership ratio here in America. So if 6 out of 10 people own a home, eventually the expectation is hopefully that person would eventually be able to own a home. But we're starting to see that. And here's something else that I saw, and this is a big number. Approximately 2 years ago, Americans had $2.1 trillion in savings. This is from Goldman Sachs. We're down to $190 billion. And they talked about savings and not necessarily discretionary income. Talk about savings. And the burn rate, according to the Federal Reserve out of San Francisco, so Fred, is the burn rate for a family right now is about 100 billion a family throughout America, nationally, not just a family. It's $100 billion a month. So basically, it's 1.9 months of reserves left. So the reserves. Study I saw recently said over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That's a big deal. So I'm not saying the sky is falling, but I am saying that's come down a little. And these are numbers that I never mean to scare anyone. And certainly if there's a home you like, you can afford the home. Real estate is historically, it's a great investment. I'm not trying to dissuade you from buying that home. I think a lot of times people try to time a market, and I see that as a mistake. What happens is the home that you like will not be available perhaps in a year or two if you were to quote unquote wait for the market to rotate or shift, because a lot of people are trying to do the same thing, and timing markets just don't work. Whether it's stocks, bonds, really, it's very difficult to do. It's it's that old story about the gamblers in Vegas. There's a lot of people say that they make a living gambling, but very very few do. And it's kind of like that because you're gambling that you have better information than everyone else. That's what I tell people is when you're looking to invest, for example, look to invest in a stock. Let's say, for example, it's $10,000. You're competing against everyone else out there who's looking to make a little money or money in a stock. So you're competing with the Fidelities or Vanguards. And so people sometimes forget that. If you're looking to make an investment in real estate, you're going to be competing, especially as interest rates come down, your competition is going to increase. So interestingly enough, waiting could be the exact opposite thing you should be doing because, again, as rates come down, affordability increases. And I just don't see inventory ticking up. Over half of Americans over half of American homeowners have an interest rate of 4% or less. So that's a big effect. Let me come back for a second and talk. Here's something I thought was really eye-opening and scary. Is that you have just a few big investment firms. You have BlackRock and State Street, which is Fidelity, and you have Vanguard. They own up to 81% of all the stocks, the value of the stocks in the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500. I thought that was a huge number. That's enormous concentration in the hands of a few. And I remember when Warren Buffett was asked about investing in a bond or in a stock of a company, bonds, and that's Bill Gross, kind of alluded to the same thing. And they asked him, Mr. Buffett, when you buy shares in a company, do you expect to move the price of the stock? He says, but of course, otherwise wouldn't be buying the stock. So the effect is, control and things of a market, certainly of specific stocks. So I thought that was really eye-opening. But what concerned me more was the default rates. We just saw recently seasonally adjusted employment numbers that were dramatically reduced by the government. In fact, probably the biggest adjustment since the Great Recession. And I'm just wondering what the truth is. And I think all of us, we depend on data, especially to make investment decisions and wealth decisions for our family. But the numbers were just adjusted down dramatically. So unemployment went up. Now the Fed loves to see that. I know it's counter to what you and I think, but the Federal Reserve wants a little higher employment so that there's not a higher inflation as people compete for job seekers. So right now we're seeing inflation. They're saying it's around 3.5%. I agree with Daniel Booth. I think that we're looking at inflation more in the 7. Now she didn't say the exact number. She said she didn't believe the Fed was telling the truth, Powell and the Federal Reserve. So I think we're seeing that. But again, in real estate, it's almost like we're segregated or anesthetized, if you will, from the rest of the market. Because when homes that are in good shape go on the market, there's a lot of demand. So it's going to be interesting. Affordability out here in California is around 16%. So it's certainly not that everybody's going to buy a home. Its affordability certainly has changed. And I apologize. I'm going to switch to another screen for a moment. And I want to read a couple of things. Um, the 2/3 again. We talked about 2/3 of American. The builder stocks took a beating. They've been taking a beating this year. We're seeing builders. It's a catch-22. Builders want to build. Interest rates are higher. Labor costs are higher. Material costs are higher. In Orange County, you pretty much can't build for under 1.2 million. You just can't. Now there's new development going up in Tustin, in the older part of Tustin, not Tustin Legacy, which is by the old Marine Air Base. But it's called Live the Jessup, and we're going to have videos on that. We're going to show you really nice. Intracorp is doing it, or Investacorp, sorry, is doing the Intracorp. I'm sorry, Intracorp is developer of that. So we're going to have videos from there. We're going to feature a lot of things about the home. I'm intrigued because also Brookfield Homes is building off of a street over here called Camino Real, and it's an area that's not far from where my son played baseball. But it's a little corner lot, and I would say they're going to get maybe 16 units, condos. But anywhere they can build, they're building. But the confidence right now of builders is not super high. But what is high, and we're seeing a lot more building of apartments. The Irvine company just tore out a ton of commercial shopping space at the marketplace, and they're building a huge apartment living community. What they do is they do a melding of commercial, residential. So they're going to have apartments, they're going to have stores, they're going to have restaurants. I mean, it's an amazing 360. You create your demand, you create your content. It's really amazing what they're doing. And so there's a lot of new apartments being built, but we're seeing a lot of demand for apartments because of the prices of homes. But we're still, we're just not seeing a slowdown in activity by virtue of people buying a home when available. We're seeing a slowdown in listings. So, but coming back to the title, bad news in real estate. Bad news in real estate is continuing. Interest rates are higher than they were a couple of years ago. Historically, not that high. Low inventory, and that's really the big things, and inflation. And one more thing, and this is going to be interesting. I really don't like talking politics on these, but I'm going to. And that is some cities and states, Maryland, for example, they're mandating in elementary schools that kids mask up again. And Barbara Ferrer, who's got a degree in social something. She's not an MD. She's the medical director health director up in LA County. She's pushing hard to have mask mandates in Los Angeles County again. Now, Huntington Beach went the opposite way, and they just came out. They're passing a law that says no more mask mandates. This is just, it makes no sense. But and I have some studies if you want about masks, things like that. But here's the thing about that. If we go back to mask mandates, people are not going to be out. That's going to dramatically affect, especially some sectors such as food, such as entertainment, such as hospitality. Again, so we're going to have a huge shift again. Certainly people aren't going to go to restaurants, things like that. So the question is are they going to take us down that road again? That will have disastrous ramifications on many sectors. That could be the tipping point, so to speak, at the fulcrum of growth and a potential recession. So it's going to be interesting. One last thing I'm going to touch on, and again, I appreciate you joining us. I like keeping these right around 20 minutes. I'm reading. One of the great things about what I do is I meet people from all walks of life. I've met billionaires, work with people that manage many billions of dollars worth of projects, properties, and things like that, all the way from skyscrapers to apartment buildings, complexes and developments and all kinds of cool things. And people have founded some very large, extremely well-known companies. And I've sold mobile homes. Someone who scraping together a few dollars, and so I learn from everyone. But as I'm looking at what's happening overseas in China right now, the Chinese economy is experiencing extreme difficulties. I don't know they're going to get over the hump that certainly the problems they experienced with the lockdown. So it's going to be interesting. I know that we're seeing a slowdown. We've had a couple of the big builders go bankrupt. Evergrande has filed bankruptcy here in the States, and they filed overseas, and they're trying to pay a bunch of debt down. But it's enormous debt. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But one of the questions is, how will that affect us? In the past, the old joke was, America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. So the question is certainly real estate here in Orange County, because we have a lot of people coming from Asia buying real estate. If China starts experiencing a market decline in their economy, how would that affect us here in Orange County or Los Angeles County, other counties? So that's one of the things that I'm paying very close attention to. But it's the same theme that we've talked about. It's not a sales problem; it's an inventory problem. So I really appreciate you joining us, and I'd love to hear from you. Leave me some, send some messages. You can DM me. You can send me an email, text message, phone call, whatever's good for you. So we'd love to work with you. So whether you're looking to buy or sell in the next 9 days, 90 days, even 900 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Send us an email. Send us an email. We'd love to help you make a smooth move to the area, or if you're looking to make a move out, let us know. If you're an investor, reach out. We have a lot of experience with investors. Take care, and pray you have a blessed rest of the week.